cadmium red and cadmium orange. So let's start with the first wash. This is like a commission portrait that I got from this girl from Ukraine. Very beautiful girl. Okay, anyways, so I'll just start by doing that nice first wash here. So first wash, let's keep it clean and transparent. Okay, so let's not do anything too crazy. And because this is a female portrait, I tend not to go too crazy with the color. Okay, so a little bit of yellow. A little bit more of a yellow here. And, just clean water. Okay. Don't want to leave anything dry. I don't want this horrible hard edge here. So luckily, weather is quite cold lately. It's like freezing temperature outside right now, so my watercolor dry relatively slow. Okay, a little bit of cerulean blue here, I think. Can still have a little bit of color tone going on here. Okay, rest of it, let's just paint that in. Hi there. So I kind of suspect that I'm gonna, if any viewer are here today, or mostly not from US, because it's already kind of late here. So probably a little bit more people from Asian country, which is wonderful. I love that. Okay, so side, go into the hair a little bit. It's fine. Can paint out. The hair is darker than her skin tone, so that's definitely okay. So she has some nice, beautiful, bright hair string here. I didn't use a masking fluid, so I'll probably try to leave a little bit of random highlight here. But again, it's the first wash, so let's don't stress ourselves out too much. We don't need to leave too much white, actually. White is, at least in portrait, I feel, depends on the value key that you are painting. Sometimes you really don't need white unless something is so bright. To me, white sometimes can be like a, look directly at the sun. Okay, so that's a good first wash. Okay, I think we can paint a little bit of her arm here. It shows a little bit, not too much. But we can kind of paint that in here. Okay. Again, nice and light, okay? Light and transparent. So think about this, skin is translucent actually. So skin is translucent, so when you paint a portrait with watercolor, you can actually feel very natural in some way. Oh, thank you, RSY. This is sort of a last minute decision. I just decided to do a live stream here because my next one's supposed to be a nature, like a landscape, but I really want to paint this portrait today. So, and I thought I am painting anyways, might as well just do a live stream. So it'll be part of my channel. Again, unless it turns out horribly, then I will just remove it. What is your question? What is your problem? Hi, Chrissy. Wuan. I think it's probably afternoon there in Taiwan. Okay, let's give it a little bit of... I think I'm just gonna do the first wash for the hair. She got this nice, well, at least under the light, it almost looked like she's a brunette. So let's give her some... I can go a little bit redder. A little bit. Yeah. I think that looks good. So this will be just the first wash of the hair, so it's going to be the lightest light of the hair. And I'm just gonna do this to save some time because I usually save it till last. But since I'm waiting for the wash on the face to be dry, I think I can save a little bit of time by doing some hair first. Okay, hopefully this will work out right. Line is not straight. You mean your line is not straight or my line is not straight? Like if you have problem drawing lines, well, my line is not always straight too, but if you are my student, I did go over that in the very first lesson. It takes practice, and besides that, you know, sometimes it helps if you're painting straight line, top down straight line, you can turn your paper on the side. It helps sometimes. Because sometimes it's easier to do a horizontal straight line than a vertical. At least that's how our joint work. So that's one of the things that you can do. I have no idea of watercolor by using pencil. Yeah, takes practice. It definitely takes practice. So again, I think I mentioned a lot of many times that don't use a hairy straight line. Okay, have a nice confident line like that and draw with your elbow instead of your wrist. Like don't draw it like this, draw it like that. Use your elbow as an anchor, as a joint. Okay, so I'm gonna soften the top. We don't really see the top of her hair in the photo anyways, so might as well just soften that. Okay. Is it dry? I'm just gonna blow it dry just in case. there a particular watercolor brush? If you have my PDF guide, I have shared the material that I use. So if you haven't, it's in the description of my every single YouTube video, and you can reference from that. I don't suggest you get like really cheap brush. Maybe when you get started, you want to practice, that's fine. But as you kind of progress, you can get some good brushes. You can get synthetic brush. I'm having my brush is Escoda Rserva, and the brush I use for portrait, like this one, is the Vinci Maestro, I think. Yeah. So it's a Kolinsky brush. It's it's quite a bit more expensive, but it also lasts quite a bit longer if you take good care of it. So charcoal using 6B pencil. Yeah, I think regardless the medium that you use, practice your line is always a really good idea. So I'm gonna start painting her left eyes. Okay, if you can see the photo, it has a beautiful translucent in her iris, and that's definitely something that I will want to capture. Okay, the brand name of the brush, I will list it in description. Is called Escoda, and this one specifically is Da Vinci. Okay, I don't know if you can see it, but here it's Da Vinci. Okay, but anyways, okay, let's get started. So I'll just start with the corner of her eyelid, eyelash, and things like that. Okay, and okay, slowly to build that up. Okay, so makes like a warm skin tone, and I'll just bring this down, bring this down and over here. Okay, maybe down a little bit more. Get a little bit of clean water, and we just kind of soften that up. Okay, so let me just fill in her eyes first. So it got this kind of subtle turquoise-ish color. So I think we'll just kind of get that in here. We'll leave a little bit of highlight here, and I'll just fill in the rest of it. Okay, just nice and transparent. Okay, I really want to capture that, just that beautiful transparent color here. The eyes, window of the soul. Let's try to capture that in a little bit of orange here. Don't you get disturbed while answering silly questions? If I need to focus, I will probably not talk for a little bit, but right now I think I'm still okay. But I'm getting there though. I'm getting to a point that I need to focus a little bit more. So when I'm at that point, I'm probably not gonna speak that much. So okay, all right. So that's okay. Now the side plane of her eyelid here. And let me see here. Let me actually use a little bit of carmine and have that here. And I'll just connect this to. There is that cast shadow here, so I do want to keep the shape somewhat hard here. Okay, we'll soften a little bit here. Portrait is something that just takes a little bit more time, a little bit slower to build up. And it really needs sort of patience and faith, because it's a little bit hard to tell how it's going to turn out until maybe you are 60-70% there. So in the beginning stage like this is always sort of a challenge that you don't know how it's going to turn out. So you can be a little bit nervous about this and soften this. Hopefully it will turn out good. It's a little bit hard right now. This portrait is kind of tricky just because the lighting that's on her. Okay, so I'm gonna use a little bit of cerulean blue here and get some cool color in. I need a little bit more. Here we got some cerulean blue here. Get some cool color in here. We can actually just, oops, too much water here. Okay, have that shape connects in here. And I am just gonna take this brush right here. I'll add a little bit of carmine, we'll see. Okay, so this part, I'm gonna do that here. So this shadow is casting by her nose, I believe. Okay, so I think I'll have to finish this shape in one go. So this is the part that I will start to be a little bit quiet because I will have to focus on getting that shape right. I don't really work with pastel. This is watercolor, so I like watercolor, so I'll mostly stick with that medium. Pastel, I actually never worked with pastel before. Okay, here we have. Okay, we'll soften this edge right here because this is where the form turns. Bring this form in. Leave a little bit of gap under the eyelid so it gives it some thickness. But the rest of it, I think this will do. Okay. I think I make this a little bit too dark. It's kind of scary looking. I will wet it a little bit and then just gonna blot it out like that. Okay. I can fuss with it a little bit later, but for now I need to finish this shape right here. Nice damp brush. I'm gonna soften this. We'll worry about the the lips a little bit later. Like right now, I really need to get the softness there. Okay. Okay. Soften a little bit here, and yeah, we can keep this hard edge. That's fine. Okay. Okay, let's start working on the other eye, and let's just get that over with. It's a tricky painting, and the key is always to keep it as clean as possible. Especially for a young female, like a young girl like this, I really don't want to overwork it. Keep it nice and fresh. That's the key of a young female portrait. Okay, so this one I can go in a little bit darker since it's in the shadow. I'll do a glaze overall so that the shadow will show, but for now I'll just paint like how I always did. And this is starting to dry. Look how nice and beautiful that transparent iris is. First start with pencil basic. Yeah, I mean, pencil drawing is always the basic for any medium, right? If you can't get drawing right, it'll be difficult for you to do actual painting. So okay. Okay, I'll give her a little bit of eyebrow here. Okay. Let me change the view. It was really distorted. The color doesn't show up. The color doesn't show up most accurate, but oh, I know why. I have some color correction on that. Okay, so this is good. This is starting to dry, so I'm not gonna mess with it, but we got some nice light and dark here. Okay, but even though there's some shadows here, keep the shadow mostly transparent. Okay, she's in the bright daylight, so even though the contrast in the photo seems to be quite heavy, don't go super contrasted in your painting, because that can really ruin the softness of her face. Okay, let me blow this dry just to be sure. Okay. All right, let's continue on. So I'm gonna do the shadow from the top there and across her face, and she got this beautiful shadow casting by her hair. That's why this portrait really interests me. However, it can also be kind of tricky to do, but let's see. I think maybe we can do it. We'll see. Okay. I'll keep the camera at this angle first because I want to, you to see the camera in of the whole painting right now. So there's not a lot of detail in this just yet. So okay, let's starting from here, and I'll do it here. There's a little bit of hair shadow here. And, I'll try to get that in. Okay, watch out for the shape. Don't paint into the hair, because ironically the hair is lighter than the shadow actually, so it would be a little bit weird. Okay, I need to use another brush to help me out here. Okay, I want some nice cerulean blue here. Okay, I need to work super fast, otherwise I'm gonna ruin this. Okay. Now soften this real quick. And I'll continue this down. Okay, well, I'm glad the weather is not too dry. So I can just paint on that. Okay, so the shadow covers her eyes, so I can kind of safely just go over them like so. Okay. Now this going over like that. Okay, I'm gonna soften. I'm gonna use clean water and soften the bottom, I think. We don't need to have a hard edge all the way down. And I'll also soften this a little bit as well. Okay, so that's that. Give a little bit of cool color here. A little bit cool color there. A little bit here. Okay. Okay, so the color is a little bit more saturated in this camera. And the contrast is a little bit more, but the real painting is actually kind of in between. Let me zoom it out a little bit. Okay. So we got that light in. Okay, let's just keep it. I'll probably do another wash later, but we got a basic light and dark relationship. So this edge has to be soft because it's a different type of shadow. This is where the forehead, you get more light here and it turns the form. The cast shadow is usually hard edge because it's blocking off the light. Her hair is blocking off the light, so it's getting this cast shadow and it's following the contour of her face. So that's why it is shaped like that. Okay, so I'm gonna add a little bit more intense color here. Let's zoom it in a little bit, okay? Okay. All right, sorry about the distortion. I don't have a better angle for this right now, because Okay, a little bit hotter here. It's a good time to get some eyebrow in. And soften some of that. Keep the eyebrows soft. Don't just paint a line here. Okay, don't paint a shape, like a hard edge shape. Okay, now let's give it another iteration on the eye. There we go, got that. Darker the eyebrow, and then just give it a darker pupil. The ring of her eyes here. Okay. Okay, now with that, I'll add a little bit of water. Just a little bit. Okay, and with that view dark, the eye start to pop out. Just a little bit of suggestion and hints. Okay. I haven't do a portrait for like a week or so, so I'm desperately missing doing portrait. Like, I love doing portrait. It's a lot more stressful though, because painting a human face is a lot more tricky than doing a street or a landscape. Okay, because there's something that we're looking at every single day, so if I don't do it well enough, it's gonna look weird. So, okay. Okay. Okay, I'm gonna fill in a little bit of color here. It's a little bit too white. Okay, a little bit of warmth here. I think I'll leave it be for now. Okay, I'll leave it be for now. Okay, the other eye will do the same thing. Guess. Okay, it should be dried enough. So the other eye is the same thing. We will. Let me see. Yeah. We'll get that eyelash in. It's a little bit darker. And get the dark pupil in. And I don't know what's it called, but like the edge, like the ring of the iris. Let's get that in as well. Can have the corner of the eye here. Okay, and nice clean damp brush, and this. I think this eyes we can keep it a little bit darker, just to bring that contrast out. Okay. Okay, I think this is pretty good. And okay. Side of the eyes and bring it under the eyelid here. And a lot of things is a little bit hard for me to explain. It's just based on my understanding of the human face, so it's a little bit tough to explain. Okay, let me see if I can get the camera angle a little bit better here. Okay. I think that's as good as I can get. Alright, but okay, I work on the eyes a lot already. I need to work on the lips, otherwise I just feel something's missing here. Now, she got that nice sweet lip, and let's really try to get that in here. So, big thing about the lip is don't overdo it. Don't start to go super red and make it feel like she's wearing a lipstick. Even if she is, I think it's always better that you keep the tone natural as part of the face. So that's the top of the lip, and the side here. Let's paint the almost like a darker part of the lip here. Here we go, like that. And just water, just clean water, dampen your brush, not too wet, but just bring that out. Okay, actually soften this shape a little bit. Okay. Let the lip just become a tint of their skin. It is part of the face, part of the skin. What you don't want to do is start to make it look like a cutout. Right? Very subtle. Just see just that color there. Just that little tint of color there. And we'll let this sit there a little bit, wait for it to dry. In the meanwhile, let's work on the nose just a little bit more. So here's the tip of the nose, that right here. And let's make it warmer. Let's make it hotter. Some red here. Some red in the tip of the nose makes the nose project out. So this is a nice way to do it. And again, it's a nice clean damp brush. I'm just gonna soften that edge here. Okay. Don't need a hard edge here, just a little bit. Oh, I mean, you can send your picture to me, but I might not always have time to do portrait. Plus, I'm taking commission work, so I can just take requests all the time. Sometimes I'll do it, but most of the time I'm pretty busy. So, like, I'm flattered though. like I would love to paint more people, but it depends on my availability. So. Yeah, it's no way to make it sound right, isn't it? Okay. I'm sensing some danger here. I'm very close to overwork on this, and I really don't want to. So I'm gonna try try not to overwork on this as much as possible here. So we don't see her nostril. Her nose is, we see a little bit of hint of that, but we don't really see her nostril. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna bring that shape over. It's a little bit of cast shadow here. And okay, this part I need to make it soft. I just need a little suggestion of that. I'm not going to just leave it hard, otherwise it's gonna look really awkward. Okay, so just a little hint of that and I think we're good. And okay, so little side plane here. Start from that and I'll just bring that shape out. It's too, yeah, I use my fingertips trying to pick up a little bit of water, but not getting rid of it entirely. So I think if you lightly touch it, it'll pick up some of the paint. It's kind of a helpful way to make it. Yeah, to just kind of soften it. Okay. All right, I think this is starting to take form. Now, while we're working on the nose, her lips are starting to dry, so I can go back in and start to model it a little bit more. Hi, Shamir. Okay, so it's that here, and here's like the shadow of the lip. So this is where her lip closes. Where her lip closes, so there's a very tight shadow here. We try to get a little bit of that in. And that little shadow really brings out the form of her lip. And that's a little bit of burnt sienna here, a little bit of red. Oops, not too red. I'm just gonna add a little bit of burnt sienna. Burnt sienna is kind of like a dull red for me, so it's useful for making the red a little bit darker and a little bit less saturated. I think this is good. Okay, soften this again. Bring a little bit of the shadow out, like the corner of her mouth. She's kind of smiling, so she got that little bit of the shadow. Bring that out. And then also here. So this part, it is in the shadow, so we don't want it to pop out too much. But we can keep that in the same value range and we should be good. Okay, let's go over it like that. A little bit warmer here. Yeah, it's a little bit tricky, this one. Like, the lighting is really interesting, but it's really tricky to get it right. If we do too much, it's going to look complicated, but it is a little bit complicated, so. Okay. Okay, now just the matter of adding a little bit more intense in some areas, couple areas, not everywhere, but places like here can be a lot warmer here. Okay, so I think I'm just gonna add just another layer of this just to make it just a tiny bit darker here. Okay, but I'll soften the bottom so it's not going to get too dark. She's a girl from Ukraine, doing a commission for her. So I thought that I just do it here and get myself some companies, and which will be fun to do. But yeah, I don't know. Portrait might be a drier subject to watch. But I think the lighting in this one is very interesting, so I kind of do want to share it as well. Okay, so some clean water, we'll just soften that. So we got some dark to, like some really dark shadow gather here to the shadow on her face. Some red and some burnt umber. Let's make this part a little bit hotter, darker. Wet onto wet, so this will just to kind of help it to have more depths here. Okay. All right. Okay. Now the top-down view, it should have a lot less distortion. So I think I'm gonna take a break from the face and then start to do the hair. Before I do that, however, I think I'll just paint the bottom of her chin. Okay, I'll try to leave some highlight for the hair, but then it can be really hard. I might come back with a gouache or something like that. Okay, some dark here, warmer color here, and just keep it a little bit darker here. And down to her shirt here, it gets very dark, so I'm gonna add some cerulean blue. I'm gonna add some cobalt just to make it dark but not dirty, hopefully. There we go. Okay, I'll wait for that to dry and I'm gonna start to do the hair. So hair, she got beautiful hair, but I'll try to keep it as simple as possible. If I make it too complicated, it's just going to be a headache for me. So I'll try to mix the right color. I'll do a test. Okay, that looks close enough. So okay, get that hair in. Does it take too much time? Please give me some tip to paint little fast. Simplify. It's probably the best advice I can give you. Try to simplify the form. Right? There's a couple things that don't bog down to the detail because it's very easy to do so. So like what I'm trying to do right now is really just trying to make it as simple as possible. I'm just gonna give it a little bit of blue here, just because I can, and I always like to do that. See how nice that blue look. Simplify is always, one of the biggest challenge for artists, and especially if you're kind of just beginning, you tend to try to get everything in, and that's usually a bad idea because you can lost in the detail and you start to paint too much. So simplify the values, simplify the features, the structure, and everything, and spend time on what really matters, right? Like in the beginning, I spent quite a bit of time on the eye, but something like this, like hair, her hairs are beautiful, but I'm not gonna spend forever on it. Okay, I think I kind of like what's going on here. I kind of have this softness here because just the translucency of the hair and everything. So I'm gonna pre-wet this area and see if I can play with it wet on wet a little bit. Okay, so we got that here and a little bit of this. So I'm not painting hair strength by hair strength because that's going to take forever, but I can paint simple shape. Okay, so another part, I'm gonna try to simplify this quite a bit. Okay, so part I'm gonna, here we go. Get some dark in. Okay, this part, it requires quite a bit of dark here. There's also a good chance that I can kind of change and refine the silhouette of her face. So I'm painting her face a little bit wider than her photo because this is probably like a phone camera, so her face is pretty distorted. It's getting really squashed and narrowed. So this is the one I'm painting is probably a little bit more natural when it comes to her proportion and such. So okay, so there we go. Okay, I'm just gonna, I don't really see the bottom of that, so there's no point pretending I know what's down here. I know it's hair, but I don't need to try to paint everything too literal, so I'm just gonna get some clean water. I'm just gonna soften that too. Okay. So kind of just lost in the mist here or something. Should try to fix the nose. Yeah, I'll probably go back to the nose in a little bit. I'm taking a break from the face though, because it was kind of stressing me out. Yeah, but again, I still don't know if I can pull this off. I mean, can always kind of mess things up. Portrait is hard, and yeah, I can mess up very easily. I'm wondering if I should. I kind of think I should darken this just a little bit. Okay, that feels a little bit better. On the other side of the hair, we'll worry about that later. But yeah, let's go back to the nose a little bit. Let's see here. Pretty sure that's all dry, so I can come back and kind of sculpt it a little bit better. Give it a little bit more shadows on the side, her side plane here, and we'll bring that in a little bit. Just come down, connect to that. Okay, that brings out the form on her nose a lot better. We'll soften that up. Okay. All right. I'll do a glaze here and try to unify that a little bit. I feel this is a little bit all over the place right now. I really don't want to overwork it though. I might already overwork it. Trying to make the best out of this right now. Like the okay. Alright, let's move on to the hair on the left here. I feel like yeah. We need some dark there. Okay. Again, I'm just gonna put some blue here. Just because I can. And the hair, let's mix that reddish brunette color here. So a little bit of light here, and I'll just paint over. I'm keeping it as simple as I can. I don't want to, yeah, I really don't want to make it too complicated. I'm very tempted to do so because in the photo, she got such a beautiful hair, and you're tempted to try to do everything and really get all of that stuff in, but it's just impossible for me. And even if I'll do that, it's gonna take forever, so it's definitely not for something like this. Some hair strength here, and just have a little bit of soft here. Some dark. Need some dark here. Some wet on wet dark here, and just give it some form changing here. Like I might come back and add some shadow. There's a little bit of cast shadow going on, but okay. Okay, that white here is kind of bothering me. I'm gonna fill that in. Okay. Dark here, and yeah, here we go. All right. I think her lips looks a little bit dull, so I'll add a little bit of carmine here just to give it a little bit more punch to it. So it doesn't look so dull here. Okay. And let's see here. Now I'm trying to look for things that I kind of need to adjust. So let me add a little bit more here in the bridge of the nose. Yeah, it's a little bit narrower in her case, so I'm trying to close that gap a little bit. I'm making her nose a little bit too wide. That's not good. Okay. Okay, we are almost done here. Give it a little another layer. Yeah, and her face just pop out. Huge part of this portrait is just the light in this painting, and we definitely capture that here. So everything else just need to kind of support that. If some part that I need to make it a little bit darker for it to read better, then I'll do it. But at the same time, I feel like I'm already start to overwork this portrait, so I don't want to do that. So I want to keep it as clean as possible. Some pencil mark that I want to remove. Okay. I'll wait for this part to dry, but I can give a little bit of definition on her clothes here. So give it a little bit cobalt blue. I'll add a little bit of alizarin crimson. Give it some nice cool color here. And, this is actually kind of nice. It offsets her warm face and hair. The cast shadow coming down, getting a little bit of warm bounce light, so it gets a little bit warmer. And the rest of it we can just soften this edge here, so it feels like the fold is turning for close. So we got some hard edge of the cast shadow from her hair, her head, and also the turning of the form. A little bit of sort of a stain here. I'm just picking up a little bit of gray color here. Give her shirt a little bit of tint here. Hi, Robert. Okay, so down here I want to keep it warm, just like how it is in the photo. Probably get hit by the sunlight and a little bit of the bounce light from her skin and stuff. Just overall very nice and warm. And of course, her arm. Let's give her arm a little bit of form as well. Just a very quick suggestion. Just soften that under here. Give like a very subtle shadow here. Okay, so there's a little shadow casting by her hair. We'll just try to paint that in, a little bit of suggestion. There. Nice. Okay. Okay, this is just a suggestion of the other shoulder, which you barely see it. It's just kind of there. Okay. It's kind of damp. I'll blow it dry and give it some final touches. We're almost done. Almost done here. Hope I haven't put you to sleep. Or if you are, that's totally fine. If it relaxes you, I think that's actually nice. So I'm not gonna take any offense to that. Okay, so I'm gonna actually darken this a little bit, so it just feels a little bit more consistent that way. Okay. Get rid of that. Okay. All right. Okay. It's still kind of damp. Let me go dry it completely. Thank you, Lynn. Yeah, I hope she'll like it too. Alright, so let's give it some less detail and punches and stuff, and let's call it a day. So first of all, let's get her necklace in. Okay, so I'm just gonna paint it, and I'll probably come back with whitewash to fill those hair in. Just a little bit too difficult to paint around such a small shape. So that, just go up like that. And this, I'll skip around a little bit, and we'll have that. I'm gonna do something here. I think being watercolor as is, will never settle for just a boring shape, so I'm gonna actually add a little bit of water here so it kind of melts in, merge with the shadow in here. Give it a little bit of softening, and I think this looks more interesting. So it's not like a harsh shape just there. She got like a shoulder stripe here. We'll also try to paint that in. Just give it a little bit more interest here. Oops. Bring that up a little bit. This is Da Vinci number 6 Maestro Kolinsky brush. Okay, so it's giving a little bit hint of the separation. Okay, like here, and something right here. I have like a water, just soften that edge so it's not a line. Like, if I can help it, I will try not to paint line, because line looks really weird and artificial. So unless you have something like this, there's really no other way to do it. Okay, but if it's like form changing, like a soft shadow, I try my best not to use line here. Okay. Now I'm going to add some more shadow to this. I'll have that merge in here. No, the reason I do is because I really like that translucency here, and the only way I can really bring that out is to have somewhere dark here. So I don't like to overpaint things, but to me this is kind of important, so I'll have to do that. And it doesn't have to be super detailed and accurate or anything. Just kind of have to, it's just kind of need to suggest that, kind of hint that. So I'll soften a little bit here, a little bit here. Okay, add some blue to it. Have a little bit more fun with color. When I'm painting hair, I make it a little bit more fun, just adding some color to it. Okay, some hair strain, dry brush work. Okay, have some more hair going out. And a little bit more dark here. Okay, a little bit here just to bring out the form of the hair. Okay. I'll do a glaze here. Okay, now this dark stops here. Okay, let's give it a hard edge here. Okay, so actually should be a little bit higher, but whatever, because the face is casting a shadow on her hair, so we got that nice cast shadow there. So actually paint that over into her shirt too, just to keep it more unified. And we have another shadow here. Here we go. Here, now we got some more light and dark, which is just perfect. A little hint, a little suggestions, and can always get a little bit more out of that. We are almost done. I'm running out of time. I'm taking a little bit too long. But I really enjoy this one. I hope you do too. And I really do appreciate that for your company here. I really enjoy painting while you guys are watching and answer some question that you guys have, and then just quite an enjoyable experience, pretty relaxing to me as well, that I can kind of speak to somebody while I'm doing this. So thank you guys thank you guys for coming and show up your support. Okay, maybe a few hair strained. Okay, I'm gonna use some whitewash very soon, in a minute. Oh yeah, no problem. I kind of just decided to do it all of a sudden. It wasn't really planned. So I'm actually surprised there are people showing up. just thought because I'm painting anyways, might as well add some content to my channel. So it's kind of good way to do it. I always want to put more video, but my time's really limited, so I figure this way I can add more video to it and I can skip some editing. The downside of that is people will have to watch the whole thing like without any speed up. But at the same time, of course, they can skip it. They can skip around if they want to. So okay, I'm almost done. I think I might want to give it a little bit of background though. Some nice sky blue that can... Yeah, I think this is nice. This can actually offset. This can offset a lot of warmth on her skin tone. Alright. You know what? Let's make it clean. I'll use my new flat brush here. I'm just gonna paint to the edge here. So yeah. So nice and flat. I'll treat it like almost like a graphic here. So almost like a stripe of graphic here. Yeah. This can also become like a contrast of, got this nice flat straight shape versus her face, her hair and stuff. I think this would be kind of interesting. Okay, soften this top part a little bit. Okay. Well, I guess this is it. I'm gonna use some wash and call it a day. Oops. Alright, my whitewash here, and I'm actually gonna blow dry first. Okay, so that's completely dry, and let's use some whitewash and get some of the highlight back. So maybe a little bit here. Not too much though, just like a couple areas that I want some highlight back. And particularly, I think the hair. Just get some hair back in here. Like the problem is it's gonna be white. I think in this case it's okay, but yeah. Okay, a little bit of highlights here and the hair. A little bit of sparkle in the eye. And a little bit of gloss on her lip. And I think that's pretty much it. There's really not that much to add to this. No, it's tilted. My camera is tilted. That's why. It's actually tilted about like 30-degree angle. So, alright, I think I spent long enough on the live, so I might do a few more work on it, but this is pretty much it. Hope you enjoy that. I'll see you guys later. If you're new here, like, subscribe, and I will see you guys next time.